All right. I think I'm live. I'll find out here in a minute. You guys can hear me. Let me know. The one downfall. Don't know if all my stuff's working. Let a few more people hop on here. All right. Stuff here, guys. Oh, let's see. Screen. I was kind of hoping being later, get more people on here, but still it's kind of late. Didn't realize my schedule says it's for tomorrow at 9 o'clock now. So, but what do you do? Joe, what kind of laser do you have? Which one do you have? I don't remember which one you got. What up, Tracy? 40 watt. S1. Oh, laser post. Hey, nice to see you there. Didn't realize laser post. You sell still stuff. Seen that on Laser the Mom today. She talked about you today, so it's awesome. To look into some of your stuff, especially pendants and stuff. I heard you do a lot of jewelry. All right. So I just went for a few more people to hop on, and we'll dive into this new XCS. Have to repeat stuff for everybody. We are going to kind of go through everything again with a few people that I know. I know Joe's been on there a couple of times. Um, Tracy, you're just getting into this 2.0 stuff, so you needed this anyway. So again, if I see my eyes going down, I'm watching the chats. I'm a one-man show here on Facebook, so that's what I do. Usually I have somebody help me, but they're out of commission tonight. So I will be up when I go to share my screen. I'll be up right hand corner. Every once in a while, I will have to turn myself off just so you guys can see what's going on. So yeah, I knew you'd love it, Tracy. Killing it, I'm sure now. So, all right, let's see here. Where we at? We got people. 5 people. And we'll get going. We'll hop in here. We'll share my screen. All right, everybody can see my screen again. I don't have this thing set up where I don't have enough monitors. See everything. Someday I'll get those figured out. That's right. Got to represent. Yeah. All right, guys. I got this blowing all over the place to drive me crazy. So, XCS 2.1. Long time coming. They finally get this thing out of beta. So hopefully everybody won't be scared of it. because there's nothing to be scared of. I did find a couple things that they need to work on, and I'll show those to you guys. So don't worry about them being issues, but it's definitely, it's definitely better than 1.7. So if anybody that's come from 1.7, this is 10 times better. We're gonna kind of hop through this main screen. So this is when you open XCS now, this is what you get. These are all my recent files. You do have I think you get 10 or 12 recent files. So you get those, you get a bunch of information. So if there's any information from xTool, that's across the top bar. And then you get all your design space. These are all free files. So anybody coming in new, you guys can hop right into this stuff. It says recommended, but you can do it on any machine. Obviously, some of the settings won't be the same, but there's stuff for everybody. Just at least get in there, get started, get your feet wet, doing what you need to do to start running that laser. And again, that's why I do this. A little background on myself. I own E2 laser engraving out of Michigan. So we've been doing it for 2.5 years. Unfortunately, it is still a hobby. This is just a side thing for me right now. It is a business, but it's on that verge of what do I do kind of thing. So, but I do this every once a month. Again, if those people that buy lasers, there's definitely something that's going on now. I don't want people buying a laser and telling me, hey, I left it in the box for 1.5 years. So I've been doing this once a month. Hop on, ask your questions, kind of show you stuff. And luckily, every time I've gone on, either they've had an update or something new's come out. So it's kind of worked out good for me. But like I said, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chats. I'll be looking down every once in a while. It's my tendencies. So, anyways, basic screen, Myspace. This is your free spot for if you do have different tablets, a phone. This is where you can kind of transfer them without having to use like a Dropbox or what's the other ones? Google, that kind of stuff. I use Dropbox myself. That's my preference. I used to use 3 lasers before they let us, run 6 lasers off one software. So now I run just one. But this is where you can, if you make something on a tablet, this is how I send it to my computer this way. So you can upload it from your computer from the cloud. They do give you 10. You can buy more. Like I said, I think other things better. Then DesignFind, again, their version of kind of Etsy. They have changed it up a little bit. There is plans now that you can buy. So there's a premium plan and stuff like that. Again, it's up to you. There's a lot of stuff out there there's a lot of free stuff in here too. So again, it's a good tool to come in and use to get started. So it's not a bad thing, but there's definitely other places besides this. So, but this is all in your main screen. Again, just hit the home button to get back. And then so close this one. So X will close them out. So this, I'm gonna kind of hop through. I'm gonna start on the F1 Ultra just to show you guys that you can have multiple lasers attached at one time also. It's real quick. Right now I got my Ultra hooked up. I'm gonna go this one. I'll jump that far ahead. This is kind of me. I wing it, guys. If you guys have all watched my stuff, I don't go by a script. I bounce all over the place. That's why I said, if you guys got questions, please put them in the chat. I'm gonna show you guys how to connect. I know that seems like a real big issue right now is connecting lasers, and especially if somebody's coming from 1.7 again, and even 2.0. They get confused because they did change it up a little bit. So now your lasers are over on the right hand side. This is your switch device connection now. They do give you a list. Well, the problem is everything's in this list. If I'm gonna switch to my P2 here, if I hit there, so I'll switch. Now see that one actually connected. My P2 usually connects. I have to try it. But we have so I got my P2, my Ultra, and my F1 over here. So just inside of my P2, I go over here to my F1, connect this one. And again, you can name all your lasers. I got all kinds of names for all my lasers. So let's see if this is also. I actually want one to fail. It's probably not gonna fail for me tonight. So you can see this didn't have a green check. So it says it's still not connected. Even though it's on the screen, it's not connected. So in this sense, come down to where it says connect device. All my lasers on Wi-Fi. I don't have none of mine hardwired. So this whole should populate all my lasers right now if this pops up. Good. So in this works, I think it's grayed out. Just click on it. And now it's connected. And that's where people get confused. They see that they go to the screen here and they connect and it doesn't connect and they say it's not connecting. Well, that's why. So they do not have the cross. So I got a question on here. Is the cross hatching on the new F1 Ultra? Not yet, unfortunately. It does let you do different angles when you do embossments, but just regular engraving, it does not yet. I'm hoping soon. It definitely would make things a lot easier, clean up some stuff faster. So, but yeah, so that's just don't be scared about that. I mean, that's you want that green check. So this is a big thing. I want to make sure people are noticing. I'll connect my S1. And you can connect to the same laser twice. Right now. So yeah, let's see. Let's make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Because my chat got disconnected. We got 14 people. Again, people, hey, just letting you guys know we're just going over some connection stuff. Again, I kind of ramble on, so sometimes people gotta get me pointed back in the right direction. Just showing some different ways how to connect. Um, Again, me trying to talk about myself is, I've only been doing this for about 3 months now, 4 months, I think. So, but we'll kind of go through each laser. That's why I wanted to hook all these up, just to kind of show you where everything is on all of them. We'll start with this one, the S1. I think a lot of these people are from the S1 group than most. So again, we'll work through these. Most of this stuff I'm going to show you right now is all on all of them. Obviously, you got your settings, all your file. So projects, import image. There's about 3 different ways to do this. This is anything that's a PNG file, SVG file, stuff like that. That's where you import your image. Your close, your save as. I've asked people, how do you save? What's your save as? And then this export SVG will export the whole workspace. And I'll show you another one where you can export just an item instead of the whole workspace. And this is on all of them. So this stuff should work alongside with everything. All this stuff we're gonna go through right now is just XCS stuff. Then obviously settings, maybe. So 2 things they actually did really nice. They do make the units hotkey down. So Control K will switch from millimeters to inches. That's a nice one. Same thing with auto snap. And I'll show we'll have time. We'll show you how the auto snap works again on a hotkey, which is great. That Control R. I recommend having these 2 keys or 2 selected. Just helps. If you want a list of all the hotkeys, which there is a bunch of them now, I'll let you guys go back through and check it out on your own. No point in having me because some people like them, some people don't. I'm fond of hotkeys, but I only like a few because I don't like it when they're multiple button ones. Vector quality, I'd recommend either put it at high or optimal. I would never leave it at medium. That's my suggestions. So This one is I'm very adamant that you need to keep as size. Um, keep a size just because anytime you bring in a file that has slots that slide together, if you don't have that thing checked and it comes in and says auto scale, you lose all your fit and function, man. So I definitely would not do that. So that's why I always default this one to keep it as size. Uh, this one I'm guessing is going to probably start going away a little bit. I mean, unless you're coming from a CAD software, this is where people are going to use this one more. Uh, this is an AutoCAD, the DXF file. It just helps brings files in that don't close up all the way. This is another one that was a hot topic on a bunch of people that upgraded this last week. Import and export. So this is where if you have custom settings that you've saved, you can export them out and put them on a new computer, or move into a different computer, just back them up. This is where you export them out and then you can import them back in. So that's another one people have been looking for. Also, it's just drivers and then your updates. So, and mine are auto, because I'm not worried about it. So that's XCS settings is what it is. So there's an XCS settings, and then there's like a laser setting. So again, if you're in the chat, you'll see people say, hey, go to the left settings. This is what they mean. This is the right settings of your laser settings. So we'll go across here. Obviously, canvases. So you're allowed to have 6 lasers or 6 tabs open at the top. So you can actually run this. So I can send to every one of these lasers at the same exact time. Same exact time, but I can send to all of them and let them all run at the same time. So I can have one more, and then they'll stop. It won't let you add any more. And then canvases. Again, this is where preference, the only downfall with canvases, and again, you can have 10 canvases inside or pages inside that file. So like my F1 file, I can have 10 subfolders, whatever you want to call them. If you have something multiple, I have one where I have a show, my F1 show, where I take it and I just have odd things that I have in each canvas. It's just easier. So if you have a generic name up here and then have it here, the problem is when you go to search something, it's harder to find it because it doesn't know inside the canvas. So just note what you're calling the main file. So, but you can name these two, just so you know, the canvases. Just click on them. Just can't spell them. That's one. Whatever you want to name them. It's kind of cool, especially if you do layered projects. I use this for my layered maps, which kind of like keeps me in order. So then obviously it puts it up there so you know which one you're on. Obviously undo, redo. Very, very useful buttons. Control Z, same thing. They did change the process now. So this is where you change all the processes to pick your stuff, your base plate. So I do like the fact they changed these so they're separate. You don't have to worry about a tab over here. So rollers, chuck, even screen printing, conveyor, curved material, and that's it for the S1. So that gives you all those options. I could dive into these, and this is something where maybe we have a chit chat, and if people have enough questions about a specific laser, we can dive deeper into that specific laser a little bit more. If you guys ever want to do a one-on-one, you can reach out to me also. I've done that with a bunch of people. So that's that. This feature here is if you have the little icons. Again, this is all for the S1. So if you have the little markers to do the camera check, I don't use it. I love the target thing, so I use that primarily. I don't care about the camera. It's handy sometimes, but not always. So speaking of targets, this is your marking area now. It's not gonna let me mark anything because I don't have a set height. Obviously, got your distance. You can either type it in or you can do auto. And this is where people that don't know, if you don't have the S1, this is the one benefit is the location of the, you can always know where the laser head is. You can see how that's moving. The one benefit that is, I wish they would all kind of do that are gantry style. So just for those people that don't have that. Well, I'm getting to the point. You guys gotta let me know if you can't see this upper right hand corner. I don't know where I'm floating on YouTube, so it doesn't tell me. See if I can see it myself. Yeah. I'll have to disappear here for a minute. We're getting to that point. But yeah, so actually I'm gonna turn my camera off here for a second. Make sure you guys are seeing this. So yeah, up in this corner right here is your auto measure, your distance. Again, all these are the same. They're all going to be in the same general area for all the lasers. Uh, obviously auto measures. I just want to show you distance, but I guess I'll go through something in there, but so obviously that's my measurement. Again, this is again out of the S1s, these are different than what like the P2. Obviously, you put your height in there, the thickness material, and that's where, like I said, people that come from different lasers, things are a little bit different. So uh, don't assume it happens. So this is their, marking area, rectangle, circle, polygon, blah blah blah. Just do pick your one, mark. Um, feature. So just two corners and marking. Now, if you want to go up and you do another one, you just select what you want to do. So you want to do a circle somewhere. And this is where if you have a piece of wood that's got scrap, want to cut something out, you can do as many as you want. You can do, they can go all across this. So, it's, I've done that where, again, because you don't have a camera, that's where like polygon, you can just take point, and just chase it around, at least get an idea, if you want to use something up. So that's that. Uh, the new thing is you actually can go back in and actually, because before you couldn't either delete it or you can go back in and I think you can still keep marking now. That one didn't do it. I think I did the other way. If you hit the preview marking, it lets you go back in and actually add to what you already had. Before it wouldn't let you do that. So let's see again. I'm not going to jump into that one yet. Use defined materials. This is XCS's, they give you defined materials. It's a very useful starting point. Again, emphasize it's a starting point, guys. If not, I still recommend doing a material test. You can get more materials. This again, this part goes to the internet base. That stuff is on here. They give you the big list. You can filter for your laser, what material you're looking for. And again, it's very handy stuff. It's definitely better than what it used to be. A lot of it was a big guessing game. So at least they give you an option now. So materials, 20 watt glide. So it gives you the cups, stainless steel, business cards, pendants. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here to at least get you starting point. So to get out of it, set the X, takes you back. Again, I don't think I'm gonna dive into settings on each laser, but this is your settings. So you have a settings for a laser. Again, you can rename it here. This is also how you set your Wi-Fi up. So you got to be USB first, plugged in, set it up. Then you can then it'll work off Wi-Fi. So this one here, you obviously got flame alarm. I have that on actually. All these things can stop and move, protection lane, depends on I've ever seen that one come up either. And a lot of people have, again, you can turn these warnings off. I mean, I don't recommend all of them, but adjust the brightness, adjust your airflow. As long as you have your thing set to auto, exhaust fan on, you can actually turn it off if you want, it looks like. How long you want it on, turn the buzzers off. So learning some new things too. So that helps with speed, or how long it's been on, how it's been operating, just nice information. We want to sell them. Then accessories, which I don't even attach, so it's probably not going to show up. I think your conveyor will show up there. So, let's see. That's that. Up here, real quick. This is just information. Again, things are done. More message system stuff. Information activities. It's all red. Stuff like that. No, it's not the bottom one. Did it? This here actually will let you, so in process, if you have multiple lasers running, they'll all show up here in this little box where you can go in there, turn them on, turn them off. Because again, you can have all these running, still go back, work on stuff like that. So that's just the user guide. It kind of walks through this stuff. Close this tab. What is it? Is there anything anybody else wants to know about? Again, every laser is going to be a little bit different. That's what's kind of odd on all these. So it's where I like to try to cover everything in XCS, but it definitely can get more specific. Maybe we'll go through questions and ask that. I know one feature I kind of want to bring up, not necessarily on this one, but more probably S1 of F1, people that have that. There used to be a section for auto planning. It is cool now that everything you have on your screen, it does show up, your power settings and stuff. You can click on each one individually, so it will show every list of everything that you have. Like a bunch of different things. Circle. So, didn't expect that. I guess it breaks it up there in for colors. Curious. I don't want to get far ahead of myself. No update on the phone app that I know of. So there's definitely, and again, for people that are on the phones and the tablets, there is some features in here that you guys are missing out on. Again, like the node editing, and there's another feature that I'll show later. So, but one feature that the auto planning. So to adjust that stuff, right here where you go to it's down here now. So under the go process, auto planning, user defined, and this is where you can change by layer again, one by one. It is defaulting to one by one. So if you've seen stuff that's taking longer than what it used to, this is possibly why. Because it doesn't, this altogether makes it like it's unions. So just let you know. And then you can actually go from top to bottom or bottom to top. That's another thing you can do now. So, but yeah, so on all of them, under the go process, the three dots, that's what that is. Framing, this is just obviously the S1. You can move it by hand. Home Z, home. If you ever have something where it doesn't check out right, I would just home everything. Usually it goes back. Some people have had issues with that. Oh, let's do. We're gonna work on this stuff in a minute. I kind of want to look at it. I'm gonna run through these over here real quick with the laser. So F1, people with F1s, the regular F1, not their ultras. A big one for speed, guys. Again, under the planning, go to user define. Highly recommend you turn the smart on, because when you turn the smart tab on, it eliminates all the white space. So it quits doing it like a printer, and it does each letter by itself, each line by itself, so much faster. And actually, I think you get better power rating settings myself. So I'd highly recommend turning this on. And it sucks because you actually got to go and turn it on every time you open a new F1 canvas file. It will save. So if I have it on and I save it, it stays on. But as soon as you open a canvas or move to another file, it's off and you forget and you're like, oh man. So I recommend turning that one on. Again, framing, just outline. People, you can do the outline that shows the image. You know, if I square it up, show a square, a diamond. People don't know. Um, oh, so Joe just asked me about, is there some for measuring? Unfortunately, not officially yet that I know of. My best bet is to tell you to go in there and get something that's close. I know. I wish they would. There's definitely something that's highly on the list to-do list to get some type of measurement, just so it's easier to do stuff. There's ways to get away from it, but you can do math from point to point. It's where the nodes do come into play a little bit, but because you can measure a node and it'll give you the point of a node. So we'll just do a quick see if this will. So now this is where the nodes. Uh, so if you double click on the files now, anything, and I'll show you why. So now you get nodes. Uh, you do get simplified. If I click on a node, it actually tells me the node coordinate. So you can do math a little bit easier at least. It gives you an idea so you're not just stuck to the corner. So that probably be the best way to do some type of measurements. Obviously, if you don't have a node in that exact spot, you can add one. If you want something mid. So that'll be my suggestion. There's ways to align stuff. Again, these are some of the new tools that people, again, coming from 1.7. These are the new design features, stuff like that. Simplify is not always good. This is not for simplify. You do have scissor tools. But again, you can actually run these open now, just to let you know. Still think this will engrave. So you can actually engrave with open lines. It does get you in trouble sometimes, but at least you can do some design features like that. So if you want to do something with scores inside, you can do that. If you just want to add a line to score, before it would throw it as a and fill it in even as a single line. It'd really get weird. So now you can get away with that. Let's see. Texts. Obviously, text is another one that's kind of weird for people. It is now wherever you place it, it starts. If you double click it, you can edit it. So people have some questions about that. Me too, Joe. Again, I'm spoiled from cat too, so I know where you're coming from. So, they did come on. So again, instead of everything being on your right hand side, everything is on the top now. So again, your degrees, your radiuses, front to back. So this is your bring everything front, send back. It's kind of layered. We'll go over that in a little bit. Uh, just your vertical. They do have a line center. If people haven't noticed that, it's nice. So you don't have to do the whole horizontal, the vertical. Um, but they did add a lot more xTool type faces. If people haven't noticed, so you do have more options now with that. And then you can also scroll through them, or you can hit your arrow key, and that will actually change them, which is very nice. Hope everybody understands fonts or whatever you have on your computer is what they are. So, and then they also do have line fonts now in here too. So, and that those are more. You can even go in here and check, like these ones under regular. I think there's a line font even for those, and those are set up more for the M1 Ultra, but maybe every once in a while you want one or you just want a line on there. So So good question, Tracy. Group or unite? So group is for design only. Unite is for something on laser. Group will not do anything for you in the processing of the laser head. Just to let everybody know. It's always because I know like Lightburn group will keep everything together. It helps you in that sense. I'll pop back up here. So, but yeah, so that in that sense, so here, let's do that question. Now we're in that point. Let's go over these little ones real quick. Pen tool, real quick. I mean, obviously, it's 10 times better than what it used to be. Um, you can go there. Now, if you double click on one, it does give you, corners, radiuses, drag. You can do, there's 4 options. They all do something a little bit different. If you want 2 of them that are straight across from each other, you can actually do that now. That's what's nice with all these things. You want a square corner, again. So there is ways to design better than we used to be able to in XCS. So by far, I mean, I've done a lot of stuff with just, the pen tool, way better than we used to be able to do 2 months ago. So, like I said, we're just gonna run down through these real quick, and then I'll explain the Unite and stuff. We'll do this one. If anybody's into AI, HMID, this is their features. It's definitely some handy things. They do cost you points. So obviously you buy a laser, you're gonna have points. But they do have a lot of new options and a lot of new things coming out. The embossments are cool. But you just go in here, you type, hey, you want something. These are some of the ones I did. Some Hollywood, some bats. It made some cows for me, some dragons. They're not always the greatest. You can see like this one here. It's got 2 hands. So it's just how you word it and how you play with it. I mean, but it does cost, like it costs 4 points. I got 5,000. So every image you do costs you a little bit. But you can all do all these different types, line arts, silhouettes, it is cool stuff to play with. I'm not that big into it, so I don't do a lot of them, but most people are. So, and again, that's under to get out of this. And again, they got just regular line art also, so you don't have to do embossments, obviously, or whatever. But there's definitely a lot of cool things. I know a lot of people have been doing, this logo. I've seen this a lot. What else have you seen? No price going this fast, but there's a lot of stuff on here. Don't get me wrong. Like these ones you can grab and play with without costing you anything, I think. Not positive in that one. So if you do want to do some of these 3D relief, designs, I mean, you can even engrave these, they're going to look 3D. So that's what's cool about these. Do a lot of grayscale. I've done a lot of grayscale with like these files. So play with them. But to get out of this again, X, and that was under this AI tab. We'll go back to this one. There's more into it. This one here, applications. Again, your grid array, circular array. This is where your material test is. And then code generation. So if you want, I use this a lot for QR codes. If you do my website, to spell the night. This creates a QR code. Scan a QR code. Should take you to my website. Double check. I know I'm not fond of PNGs, so I switch it. I'll show you why I switch it. Sure. And this is another feature. So again, they come in as PNG files. So this is where your edit, trace, all your photo adjustments come in. So I like to trace these. These trace, because it came through XCS, trace 10 times better if somebody sends you one. See, it comes in nice, clean, sharp corners, no issues. This way, then I know I can use my other settings. So, hey, Tracy, I use this one a lot, man. I'm telling you, you do all kinds of cool stuff with QR codes. So, and then go back to engrave. Just again, it's a setting thing for me. That's the only reason why I do this. It has nothing to do with this one not burning right. It just I know my settings for this one. I don't for this one. So my preference. But you can do barcodes too. If you got something you want to barcode, if you actually have inventory, you can barcode your own stuff. I mean, you just type in what the barcode needs to be and it'll barcode it for you. I know this is something that Lightburn is just coming out with, so this has been there for a while. People want me to show you how to do a material test array. I can do that too. But we'll do it real quick. It's fast. Again, I select circles. You can click any shape you want. If you are doing squares, rectangles, hold shift, makes it square. Same thing with circle, line. Just real quick. C, make circle come up real fast. Again, hold shift, keeps it square. L, brings up a line, you hold shift, makes it perpendicular. So, real quick, line to upside old ones. Yes. But so we're doing a material test array real quick. Again, everybody normally does engraving. I would recommend doing some scores. Again, if you do a lot of scoring, I do a lot of scoring actually. So I've done some tests, especially on woods. If you can get some cool shadowing effect with score lines. And then that goes back down to the process planning when you do by layer. Because right now, if you do a process, it does score, engrave, cut. This is how it will always read. Even right now, even unless you change it by layer, then then you can change it how the order goes. So, but you can obviously do score tests, engrave or cut. So the box, engrave. So the only number that doesn't get changed in the material test array is the lines per centimeter. If you're doing anything on metals, I would suggest going and starting at 200 lines per centimeter. That's usually the kind of mid range. But I mean, test 300. I mean, it's acrylics are up in the 300s, so anywhere between 200 and 300. But that's where you can test, and you can get all kinds of different colors. A little 5% power will change brightness of whiteness. So it's that whole test. But yeah, I mean this will go up to 300. Scroll it. It's crazy when people don't realize that this stuff will move. We can go 200 again, select it in material test array, and then again, depending on what you're doing, I highly recommend don't ever do 100% power on wood, leather, thin wood, I should say, I guess. Anything that's super flammable. Be a little cautious. I'm gonna tell you that every time I do this. Don't 100% at 10 speed. You're gonna burn through it. Start small, but gonna do 100, do 50 or something. Don't slow it way down. You want to do 4,000, or you can do 300. It's whatever you want. How many columns you want? I like 10. It's my go-to is 10 by 10. You change the spacing if you want. Move this out of the way so you get an idea where everything's at. That was another thing in the other one. You couldn't move this out of the way. So it sucked. So, and again, I'm gonna emphasize this, and I've said this in every one I've done of these. Do not set a material when you're doing a material test array because you're testing it. You set the material now, it will change these all to the same material, same setting. It's where you see these people get the ones that are all cut out or all engraved the same color. That is why. So, and this is where kind of what I was kind of show you guys. You can see every square, because they're individual, it shows you every setting of every one of them, which is actually kind of cool. So if you want to go there and change something, do something different on the side here now. So, let's see what else we got. Trying to miss any questions. Again, if you guys got questions, please go ahead and put them in the chats. Tool again. This is another one. Just your basic shapes. There's stuff inside of them. you know, random stuff comes in handy. Square corners. Uh, this one here, I use this one to cut corners off stuff all the time. It's just easier than trying to, like you said, measure it out, make sure it's right. I can go corner, corner, measure to an edge, cut it off. I know it's in the right spot that way. Stuff like that. So, I mean, you can use these for all kinds of different things. Borders, everybody knows, unless you're using an F1, borders take forever. They're cool, they look awesome, but they make programs take longer. There's a lot of cool ones in here. So if there's stuff you want to use, they do have a bunch. And same with plants, even these patterns. I mean, this is kind of some cool stuff. You can play with the patterns and do some different things. And again, you can do grid arrays and stuff like that. So let's see if I can screw stuff up. So this is, again, I'm gonna use this one as an example. We use these as examples real quick. So as you can see, these are all individual. This new button up here, release compound. So anything you have selected, it releases every little tidbit of every file you bring in. You can edit it, you can do what you want with it. Now I can do every petal individually. This is again another edit feature, design feature that makes this a lot more powerful to do more editing. Any file, I can bring a PNG file. Again, don't get me wrong, I gotta trace it. So not all files, but any SVG you bring in, I can edit. You can pull it apart, bring it back together. A lot of times you get these files or bring in the inside of the little letters are messed up. Usually you can do that feature, and then and if you want just those two petals removed, say you just want these two petals, something stupid. For some reason you wanted those two out of there. You can go back, hit make compound vector again. Now it's all one again. And this is kind of the new Unite. Just to let you guys know, be careful. It does, just make sure you have your engrave on, because it will potentially make some things look weird. Just double check it. So, but no, and again, any SVG file you bring in, you can do this, and it's the group ungroup that's in Lightburn is what I'm gonna call it. So, and then on top of that, you can actually edit nodes. So on everything and anything. And this is where the simplify comes in. Problem with simplify, it's a nice idea. If I click simplify and say, hey, I want to do, so it says there's 230. If I simplify it, you can see I lose sharp corners. I mean, yes, it does get down to just two, but let's see how this fast it does. So it does simplify it, but you do lose some corners sometimes. So anything that's got a sharp corner, you might lose that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And obviously this is going to make the file a lot easier to process because you don't have a bunch of nodes anymore. So, I know there was another question that somebody brought up. Again, I'll get back to yours, Jay, Tracy. I'm going to get to you in a minute here in a second. Another one, people ask about doing, I want to score it on top. So if I want to score this, and I want to make an exact copy, this is what you used to do actually, to do a copy of stuff instead of doing just copy paste. If you do outline, if you set it to 0, and it doesn't matter if this is checked or not checked, it's going to grab everything, inner, outer. I always check it still, but hit confirm. And then what I do right at this point is I grab so I hit right click on my button. This brings up this list. But right click is another big feature, copy paste. Again, you can copy from also the copy and paste. You can go from file to file, the slide. It doesn't matter no more. Before you couldn't do that. Now you can. Your range, again, all your hotkeys are here. You can release here from also. While we're in here real quick, this export SVG, this will only export just this file, what I have selected. That's what this export SVG is for. So if you don't only want a small little thing to take out and put in another one, this is where you do it. But doing this outline, if I hit red, see now my trace is exactly over top of it. Now I can set the score, engrave these light, score them dark. Again, go back to this. Oops, sorry, wrong button. This feature here, go by layer. Again, I'm gonna throw a lot at you guys. So layers, again, people haven't noticed, you can pick, this is nice about this. You can name these also if you want things to be specific, colors. So that by layer, if you want this to actually engrave first, you just slide the blue layer to the top, red layer next. I'm gonna set this one to score, blue layer set to engrave. So now it's gonna change that order. And you can do a lot of cool tones now. And like I said, you can do different tones. And if you want something lighter, darker, you can play with coloring a little bit in woods even. So, let's see what else. Oh, that was picking. Still got Tracy's question. I'm gonna make him wait a little bit just because it took him forever to get to the software. Again, if you want to get off this list, you can bring up groups. Again, everything's in that group. You have a game group in here also. You can grab layers from even these down here. So if it's red, you'll grab that. Oh, let's see. But so see, I don't check my notes all the time. All right, Tracy, we'll do yours. So for people that do, well, I got somebody's child. I don't think how I want to do this. I want to center. I'm sure you are. It's a random name. Nobody specific. Um, and this is where kind of where grouping comes into play. If you want something that's kind of with a better example, this is not a great one. But basically, what you do for this is, if I have two names, I'm a little staggered off. If I group them, now I can use that to center. You want perfectly centered. Now I'm centered in that box. That's kind of where the grouping comes into play. It's more for that to get stuff more aligned again, design wise. Again, that's why I say it's a design feature. It's not a laser, also laser feature. So there's always you want to try to split something, make sure something's in the right area. That's how you do it. Now there's another feature I want to show you guys. Brought that up. That name's Turner. So if you ever have something you want to be evenly spaced apart, that's what this button here is for. So distribute vertically, distribute horizontally. Obviously we want to go vertically. I think they got their lines horizontal. To me it's backwards, but so you distribute vertically. You barely see them move, but so if you have three things that are and you want them to be even, that's what that button is for. And now they're evenly spaced apart. So let's see. I mean, again, now we can go over the cut. So I'm hoping that I'm answering everybody's questions, getting everything's what everybody's looking for. Again, I got questions, please put them in the chat. We'll go over whatever you're looking for on whichever laser. I got everything but the M1, so I can't answer a lot about those. If you needed questions answered, I do know people. So Tracy, did that answer your question about the difference between group and unite? And it's really not unite anymore. Like I said, it's going to be make it vector. Bigger bed. So anybody that has a P2, real quick, jump over the P2s real quick. If you ever want to turn this background off, right click, hide background. Yeah, trick. Again, hopefully people know that one. Let's see. Again, just besides this is getting defaulted to 1x1. I wish they would make this a setting that I can change and set, but unfortunately they don't. In the P2 settings, I highly recommend that don't use this one. Just my preference again, because again, it is only that little red dot. If you don't have something in that area, it's not gonna measure right. So that's why I always use the aimed. And then where I select, it's gonna measure. Obviously, this is your close up. Again, highly recommend using close up, especially if we got something that's near the edges. See if that shows up. And this is where, like I said, if I do have the other camera on, it's probably going to show as a fuzzy in the background. It's kind of weird. Show background. So I didn't have it showed, but it's obviously this here is a fisheye, so you're not going to always be, right. That's where this does suck, Yes, I'll hop. Cool. I'll hop back to that in just 1 second. So you can see there's a little bit of off, and that's where if your height isn't set right or your 95% is your height's not set right. I mean, obviously, if you get out in the very far corners, it's not gonna be exact, so you're gonna get that bigger. So this jump could be bigger. I was farther over here. Obviously, I can't measure over here because the camera can't go over there and measure. It loses this section over here. So, I don't know if you guys even seen what I was pointing at. You got some good ones to me now. Tracy, you're going to have to explain that one a little more, elaborate. Robert, I'll give you a minute. We're going to go back and talk to tools here on this S1. So on the S1, question, on the S1, when you get to the cutting settings, so kerf and stuff. I don't think it has, well, it's explorers to cut. So the lower focus is for thicker materials. And then kerf is if you want something to fit tighter, like a puzzle piece, because obviously the laser does have like a 0.08. And that's where normally so many people will set this kerf off, depending on what you're in, do an inside or outside cut. You can do a negative or a positive. It just shifts the laser over. Basically, it's an offset. That's what kerf is. It's handy. So if you have something that's just not fitting snug enough, you can go back there and cut it and change that curve, and they'll snug it up without having to go in and actually physically changing the the data. That's where the curve comes into play. So, and it's nice because it tells you if it's going to go inward or outward. So hopefully that answers your question, Tool. And then again, the lower focus, what that does is instead of it being where it is, it lowers it by 3 millimeters. So again, that's usually when you're starting to cut bigger wood, thicker wood. That's what helps. And again, obviously in an S1, I don't know why it jumped 3 millimeters. That seems like an awful lot. I mean, I've cut 3/8 with my 20 watt, but that's about as thick I've done. So just good for layering. Pick your brain on that one. And then obviously, if people don't know about tab generation too, this is another handy one. You got pieces that, if you only got your slats and you don't have your honeycomb yet or anything that's small, tab generation is actually nice. You even put one on there. And that way it just doesn't fall through. Usually I run this at like 15% power and just creates a little tab that you can knock off. You just push it through. Then it's not falling, cutting stuff up, lasers running over it. That's where the tab generation comes into play. It's actually nice. Number is good, but again, it goes by if you have an item that has a bunch of little details on it. Each little detail feature, even though no one doesn't show up, it's going to put 2 tabs on every single one of them. So if you did it by length of line, it's a little bit better, but sometimes you'll get ones that don't miss. So if you do it every 75 or 50 millimeters, I would not do any smaller than 50 because the very first time I did this, I did like every 10 and it looked like cardboard. So just FYI. Learn my lesson. So let's see what else. There's another one on here. How do you lay a graphic on a plaid design and contour it to stand out? Trying to think how you're answering that question, Robert. Are you talking more, Robert? Are you talking more in the fact of a photo, or are you doing more of the curve feature? And which laser are you talking about? That'll help me to answer that question. And then LOS, the not be able to see your entire screen, I would highly recommend going inside and making sure your display view is set to 100%. If you go to like YouTube, go to a YouTube channel and just hit control and roll your wheel on your mouse and see if it goes to 100% or see if it's set to like 130. Start there. And if that doesn't get you, then there's some other things we can look at. Different lasers. P2. P2. Let's see. Turn me off for a second because I don't know if people have seen it. So these, I would highly recommend not using quick measure. Again, I don't know if you guys could see it. My body's over this, so turn myself off real quick. And then aim measure. I prefer that because again, aim measure lets you pick anywhere exactly where you want to be, so it knows that height. Obviously, if I'm doing a big board, check a couple spots, but how you doing, Todd? The new software update came out last week, I think, or the week before. I think a week from last Thursday it came out. So basically 2.0 is out of beta. So is what it is. So now it's 2.1.12 is the newest update. So again, if you have this close-up view on P2, you can actually just turn that one off. Delete close-up view, go back to normal screen. Oh, let's see what else. I think that's really all. Let's see in this one. So you do have other options, obviously in like P2, you can do on slats, curved features, tumblers again, conveyor. Just remove your base plate, which I think is actually open plane. Used to be called open plane here now. How you doing, Terry? And then screen printing, and obviously there is now a honeycomb panel, so it does measure different. If you have the honeycomb on your P2 than it does on your slats. Slats, you're measuring the thickness of wood. Honeycomb, you're actually measuring a distance. It's not going to be, because like right now, if I click this and I do a quick measure, it should be like 0.8 something or 1 point something. Yeah, 0.73. So it's measuring a different distance. So don't sit there and change this 0.25 because you're going to mess up running stuff. It's gonna be bad. Robert, you need to find me on Facebook. I'm curious on your questions. So look me up in the any of the groups. I'm the S1, F1, P2. Hit me up and shoot me a message. DM me. I'm talk to me direct. I want to touch base with you on that one. I'm curious. I've done some plaid work for some other people, especially on the P2. But I'm curious on what you're actually looking for. I feel that I can't not totally laying out what you're asking. So yeah, I know. I don't pay attention when I set stuff up at 12 o'clock at night was probably why it was set for 12 a.m. I noticed that when I launched it. I'm sorry, guys. But I just let you guys, everybody know 12 or it's always the last Thursday of every month. I do this. Like I said, I might start doing it a little bit more. Craft shows are starting to die down a little bit, so we might hop on a little bit more often. Terry, which laser are we talking about? P2 or the Ultra? I'll see what else. I'm gonna keep going through. Again, another thing that people, this whole design space, you can put stuff in draw all the way out here. If anybody wants to know that. I mean, and anything you put on the outside of the workspace automatically defaults. Oh, ultra. So on your ultra, when you do your camera, so again, ultra people who have people that do have the ultra, two things. This one, when the first time you hit your camera, it's dark. You do click the camera button again, it's like it's faster than the light, so it will refresh brighter. Um, how you doing, Nordical? Rotary? I like businesses on here, but I like names. I like to know. There's a couple people that are on here that I know that hopped on that I forgot their names, and I feel bad. But camera. So the biggest thing with F1, and I had some people at I was out in Vegas at one of the shows, and they asked me about that. Just make sure your dots. I mean, when you say you're 2 millimeters off from your camera, are you moving your dots so you're on top of each other? That's the biggest thing. You did your alignment. Make sure you have those. It took me a week to figure out that I can actually move my alignment. When you first do your alignment, it's orbital. It actually will rotate. People can't see me. Turn my camera back on. I'm sure I can hear this. Yeah. So it is orbital, so it does roll around. I'm like, I can't get it right, and I thought I was off. So that helped me actually out. So I don't know if that might be it. 'Cause again, I had somebody at the Vegas show that they weren't lining their dots up when they put a piece of material under there. Make sure your dots are lined up. The camera is going to be off a little bit, but it shouldn't be off 2 millimeters. So I would recommend redoing your alignment. Again, if you need any help hand looking at that, hit me up on Facebook, message me. You can kind of walk through that kind of stuff. Let's see what else is there. If anybody can tell me, I've looked this up like 3 or 4 times, the smoke evade. I'm not sure if it just turns the smoke down, fan down. I'm not sure what that's for. I haven't figured that one out yet. It doesn't really do much difference when I turn it on, turn it off. So I'm not sure what that one does for this. That was the other thing I was gonna show people. If you somehow lose your image off the screen really, really far, you come down here to the bottom again on all these, hover over this, hit the screen, bring it back. I know I've done it a couple times where I've lost everything. Um, what else? What else? Again, most people know these quick shortcuts real quick. Again, space bar. If you hold the space bar down, it turns the hand on. It gives you your pan. If you hold control and then you can scroll your wheel. If you zoom in and out, shift will slide you side to side and scroll your wheel. Little things. You can hide the background. The right click on the mouse. Zoom in, zoom out from there too. Procedures. So, a couple things that people need to know that have the conveyor. The conveyor is a cloud-based. It doesn't have to go to the cloud to use the conveyor, just to let people know for right now. Scroll down and get to your embossment tab. It does have curve features now. It actually works pretty well. I think this is changing in the new. I heard the P2 they're making it so you don't have to go to the cloud, which is nice. So just to let people know about that. Let's see something here. It's gonna yell at me because my rotor is not attached. So whenever you use the rollers, I notice too, it doesn't give you it just gives you a thickness now. So it's just a measurement. You can't put in a diameter anymore. Only on the rotary, on the chuck, you can change it. So perimeter and diameter. So one thing I've noticed. Oh, so if anybody else got any type of questions, CAD, subtract, union, there is a trim tool, so nobody knows about it. It's actually called to back to that one. Trim tool. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. You want to trim this corner off this box. It's this one here. It's United overlap. I wish they just changed it to a trim. It's not. You won't see. This is another thing. It is trim tool. I swear. Again, and this is where things matter. You always want whatever you're doing on top. That's the one that's the right button. So if I select those two, make me look stupid. I gotta think about this. I'm just doing stuff inside, so I guess it's doing what I want it to do. It's more if you have like a tree inside and you want to cut the trees hanging out, it keeps everything that's on the inside. So, all right, I think I've covered a lot of the stuff. Some of the people that came in later, actually, there's one other thing here we'll do. people don't know nothing about. Bracelets. I did. Ooh, that's a good question. On the Tumblr now, now that you have the ability to do a curve, you probably could get away with 3.5 inches. So, depends on how far you measure out. I mean, it's whatever you can get. But most time, I try to stick around a 4 inch. That usually gets them the width of the cup, but I think you could probably get away with 3.5 inches now using curved. And it's weird because the settings are different when you use curved material. So do some tests before you do it because it splits the laser. It's the weirdest thing to watch because I actually did it last week. I did one for a customer and it actually splits the laser and goes on both sides when it does the curve feature. It's the weirdest thing, especially on a cup. So if not, I would say you want to stay in the 2.5 inch range. I mean, you might be able to get 3 inches, but that'd be you're going to start getting some feathering out. Again, depending on where you set your height. Obviously, if you're going to do something like that, set your height. If you're not going to use a curve feature, set your height in the your dots in between halfway. So, but there is a curve feature now in the F1 Ultra. That was one of the things that came out in the new update. So, for all the people that have ultras, how many other people have initiated their bed? I got a nice little hole right there. You're a little too deep through something. This is what happens when you don't update your camera. You get these marks. So it happens. I'm guaranteeing you everybody's gonna do it. Um, what else? What else? What else? And again, I can go over the basics. Again, for people that are new, hopefully they're still hanging out. Probably should cover a little earlier. I've done it in all my other videos. So, but I mean, your basics for circles, change some colors, change color. So the difference between cut. So everything is solid and solid. Everything's solid. XCS, everything is a solid thing. See, I told you, Todd. Everybody's gonna get baptized. Everybody's gonna mark on one somewhere. Uh, but yeah, I mean, everything's solid. That's what's nice. So if I went in here and I wanted to just mess around with just that back one, and do something, I don't have to highlight, and that's where, I've done a lot of stuff with the pen tool. And this is actually cool. They still leave the shadows. So it's kind of cool that I can go in here and, say I wanted to add, something stupid out here. It's just nice that you can do that. It's more on some bigger things than you're trying to cut or move stuff away. It just gives you that ability, you know. I can go in here and I can tweak it. Again, I'm just doing this hypothetically. I'll take anything I'm doing as being something that makes sense. It's just an extra feature that you make. But stuff like that. I mean, now I can go in here and, this either I can cut this away, union it. So now if I want to subtract this color. And again, I don't have to turn this to engrave. I just do the engrave thing just so I can see it better. I understand what's on top, what's on bottom. This is on top of the blue. So now if I do this, select both of them, if I hit subtract, it's going to cut that away. It's like dye going through. So just to do the color fill, it's just right click on your mouse and you change the level, the layers. It's just move to, and then engrave. Just turn it to engrave. That gives you the color fill. Again, that's like I said. I use it for just more of a visual thing. Don't get caught up in it because it sucks. Because even like right now, when you're sitting like this, it looks right. So and I still can do this, and I still can cut it. So it's going to cut, but because these are out, and then this is where, and again, this is where edit nodes. Say, hey, I can go back there and tweak it, but maybe I just go in here. I double click this, I can just box select these now, hit delete, hit this one, hit delete, this one maybe hit delete. That's what I wanted was just that. So now that's done. It's there's about 10 different ways. It's again, some of you guys have said it's come from CAD. That's kind of the thinking about it. There's always 9 million different ways to do stuff. Just trying to find the fastest way to get to the point A to point B. So I'm probably getting to the point where I'm rambling. But again, that's where, cut through, it's your level of where your stuff is at. And this pen tool is just to show you they do that where they hollow stuff out so you can play with it. Second, I'll show you that. Again, undo's a great friend. So outlines right here now. So you can outline inside, you can outline outside. And again, so when you outline something, it also does create another layer. Now I'm on top. So now that's on top of the green layer. That green layer will not cut through there. So if I had those selected, I'm deselecting the big box and I try to hit subtract. It's actually going to yell at me because it says, hey, I can't do that. So, so basically you're just going to move this, send it to the back, that bar back, send it back. So, because now I can subtract. Stuff like that. Yeah, they moved all the stuff there. Most of the stuff now, all this stuff is up on top. These are the new features right here. This edit. So you can do edit compound or you can do release. So if you do a release, like right now, this is all one object. If I click release, it actually lets me go back and modify. It's like undoing the undo, but I want to change this a little bit smaller. This one needs to be, this big. And which is nice is you go, hey, do this, go back, and we wanted everything centered also. So center, highlight everything again, make compound, engrave. Now I'm back to, again, things are a lot faster now. You can do a lot more cool different things way faster. So let's see what else. So what else? Got any other questions at all? I'm not sure how many people are on right now. It might just be you, Terry. I don't know. It doesn't tell me. Curve you a little, maybe 10. I think I got 10 people on here. Does anybody got any questions? Normally I try to do about an hour and a half. We're about there. Again, I'll stay. I did have other things to do, but again, anybody's got any other questions? If I missed out, again, those new tools are the best ones. I think that's where people that haven't come over to 2.0, that's 11. I think it says concurrent use 10, so I don't. It doesn't tell me how many. Always can count on you though, Tracy. Shining pupil. I lost one already. Dang it. Let's see what else is there. It's really pretty much it. I think. Oh, actually, people want to hang out and show you how to do a mask too. I think some people I do mask stuff, so it's photos. It's actually I was getting ready to go do and I got distracted. I was doing this bad boy. Yes, Todd, you need to do the new update. A lot of, especially if you're still on 1.7 like Tracy was. Oh, busting. So masking. Again, this is kind of a terrible picture to do a mask on. Let's do a different picture. That's a bad idea. Something that makes more sense. Let's do. Let's see what I got photos. What is it? That's not. Not photo. We it's not very picture files. Ooh, yeah, track photos. Photos are awesome. First thing I did actually on my Ultra, I did a photo on black acrylic. Took me a minute to get my settings, but we got there. Gotta be a photo here. I can do. Could do that. I'm just buddy would give me so much crap. I did that photo of him. Hey, I gotta find some better photos. Let's do this one. Yeah, not the greatest photo. Oh, again, it don't have to be this. I'm gonna use the pen tool right now just to emphasize how to do this. Say you just wanted to mask this out. All my good photos are in my customer folders, and I don't put those out there. So sorry, something like that. Any you have select. Now this is gonna go. I think it's gonna go backwards though. So once you have a PNG file and a SVG file selected, and it only can be one SVG file. When I say one, it only can be one feature. So if I added a circle over here for some stupid reason, if I hit select, it's not going to give you the feature to do mask. So only can be one. Now you can do a box inside of a box as long as you union it, make it one. One. Break this, erases everything around it. Get it done. Now you're gonna mask. It's still there. You can hit release mask, move this around, whatever. Say that's kind of again kind of a weird thing to do, but I have great mask done. Get the idea. You can do this with words, you can do this with text. So it's all that good stuff. How do you save projects? So when you tell me you're saving 10 files, that means you are putting them into the cloud. So you're gonna go, looks like tool you are using this right here. You can actually pay for more. I would recommend saving them. I mean, I think you can get Dropbox, quite a bit of space for Dropbox. Fairly, I think if the first few gigabytes are free, you sign up for that. If you're doing, from a laptop to a tablet kind of thing, uh, you can still save them to, again, doing it off a tablet's a little bit different. You're losing some features. Some of the features I've showed you can't use on a tablet or a phone, like the note editing. You can't do any of that kind of stuff on that. So, uh, and yes, they do allow you 10, but you can upload them to a computer. So you can go back and forth. Like I used to have 5 in here. I uploaded 3 of them, deleted the other 2, and now I still have 10. So you upload them and then take them out of here. You still have more room. You can go back and forth. Uh, Obviously, if you need them back on your tablet, you're going to want to leave them there. So that's my suggestion for that. Be like Dropbox or what's the other one? I can't think of it. I have it on my computer. OneDrive. Oh, the other one. Use. So something like that would be, I would recommend going that route. Uh, what else we got? Terry photos are fun. They're a headache, but they're fun when you get them to work right. Let's see what else we got. Todd, I think I did. Yeah, I think I know who you are, but F1 and F1 Ultra, number 2, little brother, big brother. That's what I got mine called. So, and then we got some like acrylic. Yes, tool. Acrylic is weird. It's definitely find good stuff and stay with it. So that is, I have some that I got from a different vendor offline and it sucked completely. So, hmm, yes, I want to say yes, Terry, but I'm not positive. You make me look. I want to say yes. It is. I'm pretty sure I use the same cable, but I'm not positive. Because really, I haven't done a tumbler on my Ultra yet. I've done rings and I've done a wine glass. It sucked. I mean, it turned out okay, but I don't like doing that kind of stuff. I use my P2. Oh man, for acrylic, it depends on where you're at. I mean, Maker Stock's not bad. CMB, RZ acrylics, Houston acrylic. I mean, those ones are all pretty reputable. Usually got pretty good stuff. I would say any of those, check them all out, find the best price. So again, it depends on like I used to use Maker Stock. They were Texas or Oklahoma. It took 3-4 days to get me stuff, and I don't think that far ahead half the time. So I didn't like waiting that long. So I got some places that are here closer to Michigan. Got a few guys that are in Michigan, Great Lake Supply. Got a lot of nice stuff now. So local, which is awesome. And even lets me come to his house and pick stuff up. Yeah. No, photos can turn out really cool on acrylic. I mean, really good. It's just again playing with those settings and just getting that stuff down. And hope you have the right acrylic. So did a lot of testing. We all plug Great Lakes. They're great. Blake's a good guy. That's why he lets me post in this group. So, but yeah, I mean, if there's anything else that he wants me to go over, some feature that they can't find, location. Actually, there's another one here. So people that do photos, real quick. Um, the adjust. So they did add some nice new things that you can play with now in XCS for photos. I used to use Imager a lot. I've actually kind of cut back on using Imager, and I use this. I mean, I can get pretty darn close. If I have a bad photo, and then again, that goes by your photo. If you have a really bad photo, run it through Imager. It's going to help tremendously. Um, I think they've changed some stuff up though. I don't know if they still do free or not. So, but I mean, obviously you can do a lot of different things in here. Grayscale. So the grayscale settings. See if this thing actually drop down for me. So you turn the light side down. Obviously, it's going to make it brighter. That's what this does. Go back up. You turn down the other side. It's going to get darker. So you can light the photo and darken a photo again inside XCS, which is nice. We're doing slate tumblers that are dark colored. Invert is right there. So obviously you'll flip your colors. So that is um again the filters. Trace is more for PNG files. I know people sit there and want to trace photos and stuff, and I highly recommend them not do it. It's gonna give you the biggest headache in the world. I do like a lot of PNG files. Bring a PNG in. I just again I know my settings for that PNG right there. See you, Tracy. We're hopping off here for this thing. I think I've left my welcome. I'm just rambling now. So if anybody else got one last round of questions at all, highlights. Again, I can show you the trace feature real quick. So we're just gonna try to find the PNG file. Just had a bunch of them. Go. File. Yeah, okay, they may have missed it. Hit screen. So if you have a PNG, and this is where again using these two features ooh, comes in handy sometimes. All you can get is a PNG file. Use trace. Oh, let's see how well it goes. Usually PNGs trace for pretty darn well. They do take a minute, I think. See you guys. But I mean, obviously the sliders, we play with those. Hit save. I mean, obviously it came through pretty good. Now it's an SVG file. Now you can actually go in here and actually release it. And now you release all your stuff. So break it, ungroup it. I mean, you can get, you know, this is what's kind of cool with this feature. You can kind of break stuff up. So one last tidbit of information. Again, like I said, a lot more design features on the PC. So hopefully, like I said, everybody gets some good use out of all this and be able to make some cool stuff. So other than that, I think we're gonna sign off. There's nobody else, no other questions. It goes an hour and a half of too much fun. So appreciate everybody that stopped out, asked questions. Again, it's one of those things I like doing that once a month. Somebody wants me to break down one specific blazer and just dive in deep with them. Maybe we'll do that sometimes. So you too, Terry. I am signing off. Have a good night, everybody. Good night.